Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. That is still my email address. It is still in the description below. Email me with your purchase and pricing questions about this or any of our watches. Again, for pricing, Mosso at thewatchbox.com. Today, we discuss a rarity originally launched in 2010. This is the Bethune DB25 Moon Phase Starry Sky, fully set with diamonds and sapphires. The watch remains in production on a very limited volume basis, typically less than 10 per year. In white gold, really gray gold, more on that in just a moment. The watch is 40 in diameter. It's 12.6 millimeters thick, and then from lug tip to lug tip, 47 millimeters with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Due to the white gold case, it's got a satisfying mass to it, and it's quite planted on the wrist with conventional lugs. This is a more approachable Bethune than the open dial floating lug DB28s or the DB27s. And you can see on my wrist of 16 centimeters circumference, it wears quite nicely. Being only 47 lug to lug, and I'm pulling the strap really tight here just to hold it in place. This is a watch that you could wear on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters in circumference. So men, step right up, and ladies, if you like a larger, somewhat more substantial men's watch fit, this is one you can wear without being completely overwhelmed. And I really do think this is one of the best sort of unisex options due to both the size and the portrayal of the gems, as this is a application of precious stones that both men and women can really embrace. And being 12.6 with a domed bezel, you can see it'll slide under a cuff from over the top. I'm pulling the strap kind of tight, which exaggerates the width, but it fits just fine. Down the barrel, you can see easily that the lugs are not beyond the edge of my wrist. We've got a strap here, Jean Rousseau for Bethune. Jean Rousseau is the OEM supplier to Bethune, and of course FP Journe as well. They make great stuff, and they give us a little bit more control over the end results. This is a lovely sort of non-aged ultramarine. This is ultramarine as it first goes onto the canvas. Of course, ultramarine grows darker and more intense with time. This is sort of a cobalt-like color. Now we've got a buckle in white gold to match the case. You can see made of white gold and fully gem set. It is spectacular. And at Bethune, buckles match the case. So you get open, airy, evacuated buckles for the 27s and the 28s. And you get these relatively conventional and conservative buckle designs for the 25s, which have fixed lugs. Now the lugs are open, they're airy. You actually have a wonderful sort of trapeze aesthetic here. And then you've got these little cabochon or ogival torpedo tips. That is the last styling vestige of the original 2002 DB1 chronograph, and you'll find it across the Bethune range. Very few Bethune watches historically have not included that feature, but the lugs are fixed. So this wears like a normal watch. It's got a round case. It's got a solid dial. All of the baguette diamonds, 61 of them, are set into the case band, and they're very subtle. When the watch is on the wrist, actually, it doesn't read as a gem set watch from a distance. It sort of just blends in with the white gold. Now, those gems are graded for color, clarity, and carats, so there's no gradient in size or clarity or shade. They are identical all the way around. And that is one of the constraints on the manufacturer of this model. Obtaining these perfectly graded diamonds to match unerringly all the way around, that does slow down the production process. Bethune's also doing its gem setting in-house. It also does engraving and microsculpture in-house. So they make their cases, their dials, their movements, and they do their artisanal crafts. So when you buy this watch, it is all Bethune. Your money is going into the product, not enriching the owners. And I should mention that we do own the brand. Bethune has been owned by Watchbox in 1916 since 2021. But go back to my first Bethune videos in 2016. I was smitten from the beginning, and I just live a charmed life that my company bought my favorite watch brand. If I had the money, this is where I would put it. The crown is a pressed down crown. You can see it's knurled and drilled externally. 30 meters of water resistance. This is a signature of Bethune on the dial. It is a grade 5 titanium dial. You can see there's a toroidal track outboard for the hours with brilliant diamonds as the hour indices, but Bethune blues titanium. So here it's been mirror polished, so it turns black from any angle except the one angle at which it reflects light. And then it's fired in a kiln to get this nice, even, glossy blue. Taking a quick look, you can see that the distant celestial bodies, the stars, if you will, They're actually little white gold dowels that are inserted into drillings in the dials. These distant stars, those are all white gold. The hour indices are diamonds. We have 2 fired titanium modified Breguet style hands with little globes of titanium internally. They indicate the hours. And then the constellation Orion, that is more brilliant diamonds. Now we have an interesting feature up here. This is de Bethune's signature and patented spherical moon phase. Normally this is 1/2 white palladium and 1/2 fire blued steel, but here you can see it's set with blue sapphires on one side and diamonds on the other. But here's the thing, you can still see the blued steel into which the diamonds, or I should say the sapphires, are set, and then the white palladium into which the diamonds proper are set. So we have 44 diamonds and 44 sapphires, 2 hemispheres, 1 blue, 1 white, palladium and steel, sapphires and diamonds. And a lot of folks know that this moon phase only needs to be set once every 122.7 years, but that's no fun, so you're going to want to play with the quick set feature, which allows you to rotate it and enjoy its action and its 3-dimensional aesthetic, which is quite cool and unique. Rolling the watch over, we have a movement that is devastatingly beautiful. Manual wind, 6-day power reserve, twin barrels in series, self-adjusted and patented. They cannot accidentally be overwound. The base plate is media blasted. We have a barrel bridge with Côte de Genève, and that sits underneath the barrel bridge cap, which is black polished with diamond paste and made of steel. The spring for the triple parachute system, you see it has its own spring bridge at center. That is also mirror polished steel, and you can see beveled on its edge. Because we have both a barrel bridge and then a barrel bridge cap above that, you'll note that we have not 1 but 2 stacked beveled edges, the encollage outstanding on both. This is Romain Gauthier and Grubel 4C level, as is the beveling of the jewel sinks. You'll also note the presence of solarization on the barrel caps. It's a 4 Hertz beat rate. And what's fascinating here is that this is the 2010 patent balance. So Denis Flageolet, the co-founder and watchmaking lead of de Bethune to this day, he will patent a new balance every time he's found a way to reduce the effects of aerodynamics, maximize the percentage of mass in the rim, and reduce the impact of temperature change on timing. And so back in 2010, his solution was a solid disc of silicon, which is why it's difficult to see whether this balance is actually moving. And then the rim is white gold. Now, if you look at the breathing of the hairspring, you can see it is beating at 4 Hertz. We also have Denis' signature unlubricated silicon escape wheel that reduces friction, improves power reserve, and also diminishes maintenance requirements. The hairspring is 2 pieces. It's actually clamped together using a micro clamp with an inner and outer component shaped independently and then mechanically fixed together. It's thin and shock resistant like a flat hairspring, but in any position, it breathes concentrically like an overcoil, so you get the best of both worlds. You can see there's also a black polished steel cap over the base plate, and then we have a completely rounded and black polished full balance bridge to brace against shock. Again, this is the kind of thing you expect to see on Gauthier, Grubel 4C, Lang und Heine, Ferdinand Berthoud does beautiful things like this, but those watches also cost $250,000. And so the standard you're getting here, even for the considerable money spent, it's outstanding. Now we have 1, 2, 3 shock protection springs. That's called triple parachute. It is patented. It has a very specific purpose. That is to combine durability against shock, that is avoidance of damage, with chronometry. So more rapidly recentering the balance staff and its pivot jewel is one of the functions of this triple shock protection. So the watch can resume keeping very good time almost immediately after the shock. And because we have 2 mainspring barrels in series, their torque curves are overlapped so that you have a very flat torque curve from maximum wind to minimum wind, removing the need for a constant force device as it's done by tuning the 2 superimposed torque curves of the respective series-coupled mainsprings. All of this water-resistant down to 30 meters, so dress watch water resistance. And then you can see we have the de Bethune mark on the case as they do make their dials, cases, and movements. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.